The worst inspection I ever had was a row home in Dundalk, and I distinctly remember it was over 100 pages of the inspection report, about 12 pages of repair requests.
And they went through with the house?
They did. Seller didn't fix everything. They fixed some things and not all things, but yes, they did move forward. Welcome to The Fight is Right, where I tell you real stories about real estate deals and all the things buyers, sellers, and even agents should know about before it's too late. Today, we're going to walk through the home inspection process, actual home inspection, and some of the worst things that could possibly happen there. And then at the end, we are going to debunk some of the comments or address some of the comments that were happened on social media on previous episodes in regards to the inspection. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that.
So walk me through almost like a story of a fake buyer. What's the typical process of seeing a home, getting under offer, getting the inspection? What typically happens?
So when a buyer goes under contract, they get their offer accepted, and in the contract of sale, there's a deadline for inspection. So you have your inspection time frame, and in that inspection time frame, you have to have all of your inspections done, all your reports in, and then a request to the seller of what repairs you want. So it's very important that you stay abreast of all of those timeframes, because if you miss out on that, you're SOL, right? You schedule your inspections right away, and there's different kinds of inspections. You have your home inspection, which is like your structural mechanical inspection. You have a radon test. You have termites, that inspection. You could have a pool inspection. You could have well and septic. You could have environmental, like if there's a buried, propane tank or, something of that nature. But there's all different kinds of inspections, and they all have different time frames for like how long it takes for the reports to come back. So when you have your inspection and you're meeting with the inspector, they're going to have you sign off on this form saying, hey, this is just the condition of the house as I see it today. Like, I don't know what happened last week. I don't know what's going to happen next week. But as of today, this is, what it is. It even has in the report, like what the weather is, like if it's windy, if it's rainy, what the temperature is. I think people don't understand that it's just a snippet of 2 hours of a random day of what they're going to find. So, and they're going to go through and they're going to go roof all the way down into the basement. They're going to open up every window. They're going to check every outlet. They're going to run every single appliance and run the sinks, make sure there's no leaking. They're going to check everything. They have moisture meters, check the walls, but they can't look inside the walls, right? Mm-hmm. They can't look inside. They can't look under the floor or under the carpet. And they're not even allowed to move people's furniture out of the way. Like if a couch is covering something, they're not allowed to move it.
Why? I
guess just in case they break it or something. I mean, I've had inspectors like try to get to panel boxes in the basement, and there's so much storage and crap back in there that they couldn't even get to it. Like we have to come back. Like the sellers have to clean this out before
That's crazy.
We'll even look at it.
So typically, for someone who has no clue about the process, when do inspections happen?
Inspections happen after your your offer's been accepted. So usually within a week to 10 days after that, you have all of your inspections done. So it's pretty quick.
So you don't get an inspection unless, your offer's been accepted, you found your house, you're moving in if everything goes well.
Right, because they're expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, an average inspection with the termite and radon, it's going to cost you $700 or $800.
Yeah.
And then if you have to get a well and septic, that's another $1,000.
Does the inspection give someone an opportunity to not close on the deal? Like let's say the inspection comes back and it's like, this house has a million things wrong with it. Mm-hmm. Your offer's already been accepted. What are your options at that point?
So your options are to you can either walk away, like, hey, we're just walking. Like, here's our release, just based on the inspection report.
And you're still allowed to do that even though?
Yes, they just changed it a few years ago. Before it was like you had different addendums, so depending on what addendum was in the offer. They can move forward anyway without even negotiating or asking, or they can make a list of repairs and send it to the seller and say, hey, like we want this done, or we want a credit at settlement and we'll just do it all later.
To fix whatever's wrong.
Sometimes that works out better. Like if there's something like, there's a sink is leaking, but you want to be able to choose the faucet that's being replaced,
you would want to fix
you
it
would want
yourself.
to do it yourself because you don't want them to just go get the $60 faucet from Home Depot and put it in there. So you have to, all of this is like really, it's super quick. And at the same time, you're doing lending and financing stuff. So you're pretty overwhelmed. And
is there a route you recommend, or it's just based off of what someone wants? Like, would you recommend them to ask the seller to repair all these things?
Depends on what it is. I mean, if it's anything electrical, I always ask the seller to fix because that's obviously a big liability. Plumbing stuff, I usually ask them to fix as well. And I always ask them to use licensed contractors. And then once we get the invoice, the receipt, we verify that their license is active.
So you don't get another inspection afterwards, but they have to provide receipts of each
receipts. And you can actually, I have had buyers bring the inspector back to make, when it's like a laundry list of repairs, I've had them come back with the inspector. And obviously the inspector is going to charge for that, but come back and just do just check the repairs that were done to make sure they were done properly.
Because technically someone could just
do
a quick repair.
Which happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When someone's doing the inspection, do they come with you? Does just the realtor go? Like, what does that
The realtor is there. The buyers are, I always say if it's a couple or, somebody has to be there representing the buyer side. Yeah. It's their time to learn about the house, like where the water shutoffs are and how to change the furnace filter and, all like the hose bibs and like where they are in the ceiling to turn them off in the winter. It's their time to learn all about it. You measure the windows and measure for furniture, and it's time for them to it's hours in that house. So I definitely want them, because if they get this like 70-page report and it's like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, they could be like the little nitpickiest things. But when they see all that in a report, they're like, oh my God, the house is going to fall down. But if they were there, they're like, oh, that's nothing. Oh, that's nothing. That's nothing.
That's true.
That's so normal. That's every house. That's not,
Yeah. So you can almost expect most houses to have some things come up in an inspection.
There's only been one house that I've ever had in 20 years that never had anything wrong with the inspection. And I had the listing. And the inspector this just happened last year. The inspector actually went up and shook the seller's hand and congratulated him for having such an amazing house.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So a buyer shouldn't freak out when they get back the inspection report and there's things flagged.
Yeah, definitely not, because an inspector is getting paid to talk and to find things. So they're not going to, like, I had one inspection where they literally couldn't find anything. And he's like, oh, the toilet's loose. Like, just to put something on there to make it, like it was worth the buyer's money to be there.
Yeah.
But there's always things wrong. And there's always things wrong with new construction too. So it's not just, resale.
Yeah, true. Who helps them decide, like once they get their inspection report as a buyer, they might not know all these things about what, who knows all this stuff.
Yeah.
Who should they rely on to help them decide what they need to negotiate or get fixed or how it looks?
I think that their realtor, like I always try to go through. I mean, I'm not a home inspector, but I've been to, my fair share. So I do know some things. I know what's normal. I know what's not normal. I know what really needs to be addressed and what doesn't. And if I don't know what it is, then I'm going to like research it and find out. Or we just had this issue last week on a septic inspection that we had. So I'm going to like do everything I can to figure out like what it really is and what it takes to fix it. And if it's something that we need to ask for, they can always ask, friends and family. But I feel like if there's too many cooks in the kitchen, it kind of sways the way things are. And some people make things out to be worse than what they are. But then you also have inspectors that, again, like to hear themselves talk and make bigger deals out of things that they aren't. So then it's also like my job to, hey, this is normal. This is fine. Like this isn't anything to like.
So you rely on your realtor a lot there.
Absolutely.
Do sellers ever get an inspection before selling their home, or that's not
Sometimes. I mean, if it's an older house or if they know that there's something wrong, it's always good to address certain things. But keep in mind that every inspector is going to find something different. So they can have a full-blown inspection and make all the repairs that this inspector said. But then a buyer is going to come in anyway and have an inspection and probably have a whole new list of repairs. Usually sellers know like if an outlet isn't working or if something is leaking or they have a bucket in the attic or something. Like fix those things. I
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily spend the money on an inspection beforehand because you're just going to get a list of repairs later anyway.
Right. What is the number one red flag? Like if this comes up in an inspection, like walk away from the house.
Mold, water,
Okay.
water damage, consistent, still happening, like water flowing through the wall. Yeah. I just showed a house a few weeks ago and the basement, the cinder block was just cracked. Like the window, like, I mean, it was like thick crack. It wasn't like a little, like, I don't know. And you could see like rust, like the water, like old water, like rolling down the, yeah. And then them trying to fix it thousands of times with caulk and what. I'm like, no, we're not.
No, there's a bigger problem.
We're leaving here. Yeah.
What is the absolute worst inspection you've ever seen?
The worst inspection I ever had, I don't remember all of the details, but it was in Dundalk and it was a row home in Dundalk. And I distinctly remember, I mean, it was over 100 pages of the inspection report.
Whoa.
And I remember it was like about 12 pages of repair requests. 12.
And they went through with the house?
They did.
Wow.
They did. Yes. The seller didn't fix everything, but we kind of had like a, they fixed some things and not all things, but yes, they did move forward with the house.
That's crazy.
I know. I know. Welcome to the Fights Verdict, where I'm going to help prevent you from having these horror stories happen to you when you buy a house.
Why is the home inspection the most important step in this entire home buying process? And why should you never skip it or waive it, no matter how competitive the market is?
Because it's obviously going to make or break the deal. I mean, you could have a $500 repair that needs to be done, or a $20,000 repair. Like, you don't know. Just when you have like a half an hour showing, you can't see everything. We're not going in the attic during the showing. Some people do, but we're not. So you have to have an inspection to know really what is going on in the house.
Yeah.
Because if you move into a house and you didn't have an inspection, and then a week later, you got water flowing through your wall, you have no recourse.
And you're paying thousands of dollars to fix something you could have avoided.
Yep.
So is there ever a situation you'd let someone waive it?
I've had people waive it.
Like against your...
Yeah, I mean, just to get into houses, just to get their offers accepted. But to me, there's certain houses, and again, I'll take my realtor hat off. There's certain houses where I'm like, okay, this house is in perfect shape. Like, it's great. Like, they've been there and lived there 30 years. They have binders and manuals full of, things. Everything's got labeled and, like written Sharpie on like the water heater and the air conditioner, like how old things are. Like, you can tell people really maintain their house. And then you have houses where like you can't even get back to the water heater and furnace because there's so much crap all over the floor where it's so dirty, or the air vents are just like caked, and so that they don't take care of stuff. So like that kind of stuff, I'm like, you're having an inspection. But something like this, where you have like everything's it's been well maintained and serviced over the years, and there's proof of it all, I think that it would probably be okay.
Yep. The difference between a good inspector and a bad inspector.
A bad inspector turns the bathtub on and then goes up in the attic and forgets the bathtub's on and leaks water into Jen's living room.
That happened to her, I think.
It did. And a good inspector isn't going to make waves when it's not required. Like, they're not going to go in there and make a big deal out of something just to hear themselves talk. They're going to be honest and upfront, especially when they know that they're first-time home buyers. They're not going to make them panic. There are certain inspectors that I will not use.
How long should a home inspection last for a good inspector? Obviously,
well, it depends on the size of the house. I mean, a townhouse is like 2 hours. Condo is an hour. But like a single-family house, you're 2.5, 3 hours. Larger, obviously. It's going to be
not a 30-minute thing.
Oh, absolutely not. No way.
And do the buyers pick their inspector, or the realtor?
The buyer picks their inspector.
But you can refer to your realtor.
Right. Yeah.
What do you, Jen, personally do at inspections that most agents don't do?
I will typically either walk around with the inspector, or every time they're in a different section of the house, like they're outside and then they come in, I'll ask them like what they found outside. So like we don't have to go over like an hour-long report at the end. Like we can just figure it out as we go. So we can kind of make mental notes, because I've had inspections where they go outside and they come in and tell me things are wrong. And then they go upstairs in the bedrooms and in the attic, and they come back down and give me another update. And I'm like, okay, well, you can just stop. Like, we're not going to move forward and finish this because they're not buying this house.
Yeah. This
So,
is done.
Yeah.
And they get paid regardless.
Yeah.
What are things buyers should look for during showings before they even get to the inspection?
I'm going to look for smelly things, like when sellers put those like plug-in things around everywhere, they're covering something up. A lot of times in basements, we're going to look to see if first off, if they're finished, if they use it for storage, or if like all of their stuff is up on pallets or cinder blocks, then you know that there's like water issues. Those are like the main
little sneaky things to check out.
Yeah.
When to walk away versus when to negotiate after an inspection comes back. You get the whole report. How do you what's the difference between like cosmetic issues and...
I guess it depends on how much you love it. Like is it like your dream house, or is it just a random townhouse that you can go and get another one? If it's like the dream house, you have to think, do I really want to walk away over, a $5,000?
Yeah.
Like that's how much it's going to cost to fix it. Do I really want to walk away? Or if it's, $20,000, like a well or a septic, like, do I really want to walk away over that? Or go get something else? Or is it like, like this is like structurally the house is going to fall down. So I am going to walk away. Yeah.
So you're really comparing the price to how much it means to you, like the value it brings you.
Yeah.
So it is person by person. There's no...
It is, because and I'll say for our current house now, we had our inspections and we have a broken window in our bathroom and the radon came back high. And we asked the sellers to fix both and they denied it. And the realtor was like, sorry, I'm going to put it back on the market. And I completely was just hysterical sobbing because I wanted this house, but they weren't willing to work with us. And my mom was like, are you really going to just walk away over those two little things? Like, you can get them fixed later. It's not like...
Yeah.
I was like, you're right. So I emailed the realtor back and I was like, oh no, we're still moving forward.
Yeah.
And she was not happy.
Why?
Because we got a really good deal on it. And there are other people who wanted it. And
couldn't they just choose someone else?
They could have, but we put an offer in day one and they took it.
So they're under contract.
So they were trying to do whatever they could to bump us out, to get other offers, to get higher offers. So
there you go. And did you fix the issue later on?
We have not. We've been there 12 years.
It's a later problem.
It's a when we sell problem.
Maybe fix it.
Yeah. And I find that a lot. I mean, people do not, they make big deals out of these things in their reports and they don't ever fix them.
Yeah.
And I say, do you have your inspection report from when you bought? And they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, did you fix it all in there? And they're like, I'm like, let's go through it.
Yeah.
Like
what is radon anyway? Like why?
Radon is an odorless, colorless gas that comes up from the foundation, from the rock under your foundation. Okay. So depending on how many foundation cracks you have, or if your sump pump doesn't have a lid on it, or if it just over time, overexposure causes cancer. So you definitely want to have that sealed off. I've had people that have had cancer and, either passed away or they're, in remission, and then they go to sell their house and the buyer has a radon test and it pops at 90. They had no idea that they had this silent killer in their house.
Yeah.
Right?
But yours wasn't that bad.
No, it was 5. And I think the level is anything above 4 has to be remediated. And it was 5.
So it was,
and I was like, if there was a bedroom down there and somebody was living down there, then I would have had it fixed. But it was 5.
It's fine.
So I'm not even.
Yeah. What is, last question for this section, specialized inspections most people don't know that they could get? So radon testing or chimney inspection, whatever.
A chimney inspection is always a really good idea, especially, wood burning fireplace. There's always issues. And the chimney inspections always come back with, it's going to fall off of your house and you need to have $15,000 worth of work done. So as long as you know that ahead of time, that it's probably fine. But
Why are chimneys never built right?
oh no, they are. They just want money to get the repair.
Okay.
It needs this, and don't worry, we'll fix it for you.
Okay.
You know, one of those people.
I'll be like, I'll wait till it falls off. Pool inspections.
I have seen the chimney pull away from a house though, like the whole thing, like that was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend pool inspections if you're buying a house with a pool?
I do if we're able to do it. If it's the winter, we can't because it's been professionally closed and we can't open it and inspect it and then reclose it. So
true.
Welcome to what your agent won't tell you, but Jen will. So not all agents want a thorough home inspector because they want the deal to go through. They want it to be pretty seamless and they want the buyer to be okay with the house that they're buying and they don't want to have any hiccups going through it. So please be careful of the realtor that you choose, of the inspector that you choose. Research them, make sure that they're good because this is like a huge financial purchase and it's a huge step for any buyer. So you want to make sure that what you're buying is a solid investment and not just something that your realtor is trying to push through because they want a paycheck. So a buyer has the right to choose their own inspector. They are paying for the inspector so they can choose who they want to work with. Same goes with title company and lender and all those things. You know, we have to give at least 3 recommendations of inspectors that we use, but you can go and use whoever, you know, you like since you're paying for them. I would look at reviews online to see if the inspector is good and thorough. I usually go on their social media to see if they have a huge following or if we have, you know, they have 10 people on there, if they've been in business a long time or not. It really is just all about, you know, their reputation in the industry as to whether or not they're going to be thorough or not. And when they're not, it's no. Again, we give buyers a list of 3 inspectors that we use, that we know, that we trust. A lot of times buyers will not even choose inspectors from that list. Same with lenders, same with title companies, because they feel like we're getting a kickback on that, which is illegal. So that doesn't happen. We are just recommending them to you because we know that they're good and that they're going to take care of you, which is my main concern. I want you taken care of. I don't want you having to move into a house and then a month later have a $40,000 issue that you have to take care of because, you know, you decided to use someone that, you know, we don't recommend. So I think that's a big deal. People are, I'm not going to use who you recommend because I feel like everybody's making money off of everyone. I'm going to go and pick somebody else out, but we really just want you taken care of and want the inspection done properly. As a realtor, it's way more important for me to lose a deal and for you to lose a house than move into something that is going to be nothing but problems and you're going to be upset about, and then you're going to come back and be mad at me later. Like, that is not my goal. My goal is for you to move in and be happy and have a solid investment. So if we lose, you know, a couple of houses over inspections, so be it. I'd rather that happen. Okay, now it's time for rapid fire questions, but we are going to be addressing some of the viral questions that we got from the previous episode in regards to the inspections and what to disclose, what not to disclose, and all of the things.
So these are all from social media. Everyone has opinions or questions. Someone said, I would recommend pulling a clue report on any property very early so you understand what insurance claims have occurred there.
Correct. So a clue report is being held by the insurance company. So when you go to get homeowners insurance on your home, when you're buying it, that insurance company should pull the clue report, and that will tell you a list of all of the repairs that the current insurance company has paid out on at the house. So if they didn't disclose certain things, that clue report will tell you.
In reference to a buyer finding a seller's Facebook and finding something out on there of what they didn't disclose, someone said, oh, dang, I didn't think of this. How can they stalk the Facebook page? I thought they weren't supposed to know who the seller is.
Well, the names are on the contract of sale. So everybody knows everybody's names and addresses. I mean, not contact info, but you can go on social media and just search their name.
Yeah. So your realtor can't be like, this is their name. But
right. Like, we're not discussing names and stuff while we're like presenting offers, but when you go to sign the contract, you're going to see the name.
Someone submitted, We found a video of the seller telling a news reporter he's scared every time it rains because of the flooding. Then a neighbor showed a picture of the water up to the roof line. We pulled our offer really quick.
Oh, yeah. That definitely. Gosh.
Someone said, if the water damage was already repaired, why would I have to disclose anything if there's no longer an issue anymore in the house?
If it was already repaired, yes. However, I mean, it depends on how long ago it was. Like, if you were the buyer and it happened 20 years ago and they've lived this time without having any more issues, that's one thing. But if it just happened 2 or 3 years ago, then you're moving in. How are you going to feel when the neighbors come up to you later and be like, hey, did you know that, that wood, the hardwood in there is all new because of blah, 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 blah. You're going to be pissed that you weren't told this. And then you're going to call your realtor and you're like, oh, I didn't know, they didn't disclose it. And so, I mean, you just put yourself in the buyer's position. Like, what would you want to know moving forward? Whether or not it changes your decision to buy the house or not, I'd rather you disclose versus not.
Yeah.
When in doubt, always disclose.
Someone said, was it repaired like new though? In that case, disclosure is never required.
Disclosure is always required.
It's legal. It's a legal thing.
And of course it could vary by state because a lot of these questions and comments are from people from different states. But in Maryland, you have the disclosure disclaimer. Disclosure is, all these questions about the house. The disclaimer is, hey, it's as you see it. Well, don't ask me anything, but if there's any material or latent defects, I am required to disclose those. And there's a section on there for that. But I mean, do the right thing. Like,
it comes back to you.
It will come back to you.
Someone said, this is ridiculous. My kid overflows my bathtub and floods the house, ruining the floors, and this now needs to be disclosed. Get a grip.
Get a grip. People are ruthless on social media. Absolutely. Like, do you wake up one day and just to say, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go in all these videos and make all these nasty comments? Like, I have a job? Like, I'm sure I'll get flack for that, but I don't really care. Like, be a nice person. Be kind. I don't get it. Yeah. Yeah. Like, what did you fix the mold issue, or is the water still like growing in between the levels of home? Like,
someone said, did the previous homeowner make an insurance claim though? The new buyer's insurance agent would have seen it when they quoted their new home insurance.
Right. So that's when if they pulled a clue report, they would have seen that.
Someone said, why would you expect them to disclose anything if it's been fixed? It's been repaired. Get a life. Move on.
I know. I have to get a life. Really? Well, I mean, again, like, you need to put yourself in a buyer's position. Would you buy the house? Like, most people would still buy the house, but they want to see evidence or receipts or like what company did all the work, to make sure that it was fixed properly.
Someone said, you're not required to disclose leaks or anything of that such. Every house has a leak at some point.
If it's like the bathroom vanity, like, oh, the sink is dripping, no, because that's going to be found during an inspection. If it's like the kitchen sink, those are, things that are found during inspections or with the naked eye. But if this is like, your bathroom sink overflowed or your bathtub overflowed and caused your whole ceiling to fall down into your living room, like, that's really something that you should tell people, because there's water. Just be a kind person.
Someone said, yup, what else do the sellers forget, quote unquote, to mention in the seller disclosure? Granted, the seller could have offered to purchase a warranty.
Yeah, warranties aren't really worth anything anymore. They're not worth what they're even written on. There's so much fine print with home warranties, and they don't cover hardly anything. And it's like $100 every time they come out to look at something. And they will fix, but they will not replace.
Someone said, this type of stuff happens all the time, but many buyers get lied to and totally deceived.
They do. It happens all the time. This is why it's so important when you find a realtor, whether as a seller or a buyer, to find someone that is ethical and honest and will tell the truth.
Someone said, 8 years ago, I was going to buy a condo. I paid the inspector, and the day of inspection, selling agent comes and says they're not sure the heater works, and they have a space heater to include. WTF, not sure it works, ? I backed out. They came back to me when another buyer couldn't secure financing, but told them I don't trust them anymore. Of course, it was $360,000 back then, and similar unit now would sell for $500K currently. I'm still homeless, ...
How do you not know if your heat works or not? Like,
yeah, that seems a little
yeah,
suspicious.
here's a space heater for you.
Yeah. Someone said, I remember this good old saying, buyers are liars and sellers are too.
Buyer beware.
Someone said, just because someone says that they fixed something doesn't mean it was actually remediated properly.
Correct. But, you know, sometimes you have to have companies come in and like bring the dehumidifiers and bring all. And people were commenting before about the cigarette, how I wouldn't list a house that smelled like cigarette smoke. And they're like, oh, just wipe the walls down. A lot of times you have to have like the fire restoration companies come in there and like completely redo the house. Because if they've been smoking in there for like God knows how long, you're not getting that smell out. And then it's like a hot summer day and it's like radiating out of the walls. It's disgusting.
And then this one was from a video where, as people have seen, someone photoshopped a fire into the fireplace. Then someone bought the house. Turns out the fireplace didn't ever work. And the person who photoshopped it was like held liable to fix this.
Correct.
So people have said
lots of things.
Why did the buyer not just have a home inspection to find this?
The buyer probably did have a home inspection. There's a separate home inspection. There's a separate chimney inspection. There's separate inspections for everything. And maybe the buyer did not choose to have an inspection on the chimney because they are, you know, costly inspections, but they are costly repairs. So maybe the buyer just, it wasn't primarily, you know, a focus of them at the time, or it was inspected. It just, you know, wasn't turned on at the time, or, you know, whatever. Like, there's something's always going to happen, but, you know, I'm sure they had regular inspections, but they're not going to be able to find everything.
Someone said, couldn't the person who photoshopped it just say it was working at the time of the photograph?
No, because they don't know. They're just taking pictures.
Someone said, this is really hard to believe. Sorry, the listing agent didn't catch the fake fire, but it is certainly possible that the listing agent, even the home seller, had no idea a fireplace didn't work. I've had plenty of listings where the seller, my very own seller, says they have never used the fireplace. This is on the buyer and it's their due diligence. No one else should have been held accountable.
I do see that a lot where people buy houses with fireplaces and they've never used them. And then it'll be in the listing when they go to sell, like sellers never used the fireplace. So it's being sold as is.
Yeah.
Like they're being upfront and honest about the fact that they've never used it. So they don't know if it's working or if it's not working. So
someone said, did the listing agent and seller disclose that it didn't work? I'm guessing not.
No.
Someone else said it is.
And the listing agent may not have even known. Like the seller may not have even told the listing agent. So just.
Someone said it's expected that all fixtures are in working order when you're selling a house. If not, you have to disclose it or state otherwise. Is that true?
Yeah, it's expected that everything is in working order, yes, unless it's disclosed otherwise.
Someone said, why would the agent and photographer have to pay for it and not the seller?
Because the seller didn't put the flames in there.
Okay. So
the photographer did to make it look more like, ooh, ambiance. Just stay tuned next time for the next episode where we'll discuss more home inspection questions and life of a realtor.